Look at this.
What is it, like more crop circles?
No, it's something big. We need to tell the president.
Yeah, it's probably not that
Look at
serious. Oh, yeah, we probably should tell
We need
him
to tell
that.
him now.
Yeah.
Right this way, sir. Mr. Kissinger, sir. We need you to look at this. Sir.
What am I supposed to be looking at? A soccer field? Mother of God.
But Mr. Kissinger, because of this, we have reason to believe.
We need to get a camera over Cuba, now. You done that, I'll tell the president. I need to talk to the president.
Well, don't we all? Well, unfortunately for you, you're gonna have to wait a while because the president's busy for the next presidential term, thanks to the nice thing that the media is now calling the Cold War.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, you're the guy that's yelling at me trying to get to the president. Trust me, buddy, you'll get to talk to him. You're just gonna have to wait your turn.
Hello? I need to talk to Mr. Kennedy. The president, not Robert. I have very important information to tell him. Can you make that happen? Yes? Yes? Thank you. Mr. President, sir. I'm afraid I have some urgent and damning news. This is an aerial map of Cuba that our analysts have been looking over. These soccer fields could mean war.
How so?
Cubans play baseball. Russians play soccer.
I think we need to have a meeting.
A U-2 spy has discovered Soviet missiles in Cuba.
Sir, I think we need to warn the people.
Hold on now. We're not going public with this until we have a solution. Do we have a solution?
So what do we do then?
We have to figure out how to stop the Soviets before they can get at us. We need to do a preemptive attack before they can even think about aiming missiles at the U.S. mainland. But we need to make sure that Cuba is not entirely at fault because they could be Soviet puppets.
But Castro can threaten retaliation against the United States at any time. Delaying action could lead to a nuclear war.
Which is what we need to avoid. Come on, then. You are the brightest minds in the military. I know because I appointed you to your posts. So we're not going to leave this room until we find a way to keep this crisis a crisis and not have it turn into a war.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites are now in preparation in Cuba. The purpose of these bases can be none other than to provide a nuclear strike capability against the Western Hemisphere. The presence of these large, long-range, and clearly offensive weapons of sudden mass destruction constitutes an explicit threat to the peace and security of all of the Americas. This action also contradicts the repeated assurances of Soviet spokesmen, both publicly and privately delivered, that the arms buildup in Cuba would retain its original defensive character, and that the Soviet Union had no need or desire to station strategic missiles on the territory of any other nation. Acting, therefore, in defense of our own security in the entire Western Hemisphere, and under the authority entrusted to me by the Constitution, as endorsed by the resolution of Congress, I have directed that the following initial steps be taken immediately. First, a strict quarantine on all offensive military equipment under shipment to Cuba is being initiated. Second, I have directed the continued and increased close surveillance of Cuba and its military buildup. Third, it shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union. Fourth and finally, I call upon Chairman Khrushchev to halt and eliminate this clandestine, reckless, and provocative threat to world peace and to stable relations between our two nations. He has an opportunity now to move the world back from the abyss of destruction by withdrawing these weapons from Cuba and refraining from any action which will widen or deepen the present crisis. My fellow citizens, let no one doubt that this is a difficult and dangerous effort on which we have set out. No one can foresee precisely what course it will take or what costs or casualties will be incurred. But the greatest danger of all would be to do nothing. Our goal is not the victory of the might, but the vindication of right, not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere, and we hope around the world, God willing, that this goal will be achieved. Thank you and good night.
Keep waiting around like this. Once those missiles become operational, Castro can do as he pleases.
One of these days, it's gonna be the end. I'm just waiting around until we all get blown up.
We have to do something soon. The people, they're panicking.
You think I don't know that?
This is the closest we've come to beginning a nuclear war. This cannot continue.
And what exactly do you suggest we do, consultant?
You have to make peace, a treaty.
Easier said than done. The Soviets just won't remove their missiles.
If they don't, we invade Cuba.
That could mean destruction for the entire country. No. We have to sweeten the deal.
How so?
We withdraw missiles from Turkey.
No.
Just for a few months.
It'll make us seem weak. Our own people will backlash.
Then we'll keep it a secret, at least for now.
Mr. President.
With Vietnam and the Bay of Pigs, this is something that needs to be done without bloodshed. I want to see the end of this war in my lifetime, Kissinger, and this is how we're going to do it.
Thank you for coming to the show today. Of course. Just to start off, straight away, now that Nikita Khrushchev has agreed to remove Soviet missiles from Cuba, how are relations between the United States and Cuba going to improve?
Well, the United States has pledged not to invade Cuba, and although Cuba is still underneath communist regime, hopefully our relations can improve from here on out.
Many citizens believe that this will not be the end of the arms race. What is your opinion on this matter?
Well, we can't know for certain when this will come to an end, but I do know that the United States is working to resolve this as quickly and as peacefully as possible.
With the United States and Cuba on the road to normalize relations, is the economic embargo that the United States placed on Cuba going to come down anytime soon?
Well, the embargo is going to stay up, as far as we can see. Not necessarily related to any of the events that have happened recently, but because of the conflicts with Cuba, it's going to stay up in the foreseeable future.
With what just happened between the Soviet Union's government and the United States government, do you think there's ever going to be a point where we can cooperate again?
Well, we're going to continue to condemn communism, if that's what you're asking.
Of course. Now finally, what's next for the United States?
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
¿Sabes qué me encanta?
Football.
Football.
Sí, hombre.